Good evening, everyone. Just got to get my cap on a bit better, though. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Guest on tonight, Thomas. The next to us, as you can see, give us a wave, Thomas. Modern Anglo. I will send you his YouTube channel. I'll put that in the chat in a bit, but just let me have my weekly, 2 minutes. You know, I'm doing this right off my head as well. Everybody needs to get involved to save our country, to go the right way, whether you're young, middle-aged, old, everybody needs to get involved. And we're not dinosaurs in this party that we just stick with the old blokes and that. We want to encourage young people to get more involved in politics. We want young people to get more involved in politics. As we've seen doing the show over the years, we have had a few guests on who were youngish, or let's say under 25, and we've had plenty of guests on. And you know, I'm all for encouraging these people to get involved in politics, to look at the state of the country, to get more involved, whether it's community action, bringing in the faith and realizing the faith and supporting the church. And this is what we need of people these days, guys. And it's so essential to the running of a country and a community and everything, is that everybody is involved. And when you look around the world, whenever communities come together, everyone's involved, young, old, female, whatever. And they're all helping to support and build their community. So welcome, Thomas. I'm going to hand it over to Pat, and then I'm going to do some sharing. So I'll have my head in my phone with it, but I'll be back. Over to you, Pat.
Yes, thanks a lot, John. Hello to everyone watching, and welcome, Thomas, to the show, Modern Anglo. And yeah, what John was saying there is quite interesting, because we literally had a young member join. I've been on the phone to him today for an hour, and he's in his early 20s. He lives in Wales, and it's really good that more and more young people are getting concerned about their country and they want to get in politics, and they're avoiding parties like Reform, you know, because I mean, Reform can't get any more establishment to what it is at the moment. You know, I put a tweet out the other day saying, you know, the Labour government are about to crumble, and it's just going to be replaced by the former Tory government. Robert Jenrick, you know, Zahawi, Suella Braverman, Layla Cunningham, all these Tories who destroyed the country. So we're gonna get rid of one government, what's destroyed the country for the last 50 years, and there's going to be the same lot who's been in power for the last 14 years before this lot. So yeah, it's good that young people are getting involved. They're avoiding Reform, and I'm glad Thomas is involved, because I think Thomas has got a lot to offer the movement. You know, he's clued up about world politics, Zionism, and that's a really important thing, Zionism. It's a difficult one, because if you're not into politics, Zionism is hard to comprehend, because if you're not involved with politics, you can't really see the problem that it is. And, you know, basically, if you look at all of our main political parties, Tory Party, Labour Party, they have got the Friends of Israel group in them. The Reform Party has now got the Friends of Israel group in it. So Zionism is like a leech on our country's political institutions, and they are interfering with our internal political system. And we've got a policy to ban any foreign interest groups in our political parties, including the Friends of Israel group. And you know, we're a Christian nationalist party, and you know, we don't want to be involved with these foreign wars. We don't want to be involved with Ukraine. We don't want to be involved with this latest attack on Iran. I mean, they're either gonna start bombing Iran in the next few days, because they're saying that the biggest concentration of military hardware is now in position in the Middle East, the biggest since the Second World War. And a lot of our military are involved as well. And our tax money is being wasted there for Zionist interests because Israel doesn't like Iran. And so in the next few days, we're either going to see the American Air Force, the Royal Air Force, the Israeli Air Force start bombing Iran. It's either that, or we're going to see the Armada start sailing away from the Middle East, and then the latest Epstein file dump will be dumped with quite serious videos of Donald Trump. So this is my prediction of what is going to happen in the latest thing in the Middle East. And because people may have noticed that when they the fake uprising in Iran, which it was instigated by CIA and Mossad agents, that was supposed to be the time when the Americans were going to start bombing Iran to try and topple the government, and it failed. It completely failed. Trump has obviously hesitated. He doesn't want to go to war with Iran. It's quite obvious. And then a massive leak of the Epstein files happened, and right, okay, you're not going to do it. Here's a dump. And as I say, in the next few days, we're going to see what's going to happen, because it costs a lot of money to keep all those ships in position and in that area. So, but anyway, back to the party. Yeah, we'll get quite a few renewals from old members renewing their memberships. Had some new members joining, getting a lot of interest from younger people. We've had merger discussions with 3 other parties. The National Distributist Party, the Populist Party, and the Alliance Democracy and Freedom Party. And we're going to have serious talks after May, depending on what happens in the elections. And it's going to be pretty good because we're all similar parties. There's some really good people in each party. And I'm looking forward to that. And if you want to get involved or join our party, the National Housing Party, you can go to our website, nationalhousingparty.uk, and you can join for £22 a year. If you're unwaged, it's £11 a year. So I'm going to introduce Thomas in a minute. And Thomas approached me, and he's got some good ideas for the future on how to deal with, not getting involved with these Zionist foreign wars and promoting our country rather than theirs, and also kind of working with ethnic minorities if they want to go back to their homelands, because many of them are not happy here. Let's be honest. And a lot of them are on it. They're honest about it, and they will say, we don't want to integrate. This is, it's just because what people don't realise is a lot of these people have been born here, and it's not their fault. So they've been born into something, and they're like, hold on a minute, I'm not British. I'm never going to be British. What's going on? And they're I should imagine there's quite a lot of people that feel trapped. And so we've got to try and talk about these things and look at the best way forward for a solution to secure our nation, strengthen our nation, increase our birth rate, stop permanent settlement immigration, legalise white British group identity. All of those things I just mentioned are policies of ours. So, it's looking positive for the future. I'm looking forward to my election. I've been campaigning for nearly 3 years now. It's going very well. It's going very, very well. And, Labour, they're going to get a shock. I'm not going to say I'm going to win, but they think it's a safe seat where I'm standing because it's a Labour heartland. Keir Starmer's MP, and I'm hoping he's going to be PM in May because the Labour vote will go down if he's still PM. It's all looking good. We've got quite a few candidates in Camden. We've got a couple in Islington, one in Sutton, one in Merton, Mitcham. And we've got John in Oldham. We've got Angela in Grimsby. And we've got lots of people interested also. Got people lined up for next year as well in Bedford and on the South Coast. And who knows, we might get some youngsters like Thomas come forward and, throw their hat in the ring. Who knows? But I'll hand it over to you, Thomas. Thanks for coming on. I think he's frozen, John. Yeah, he's frozen, John.
Is you all right, Thomas? Yeah, modern technology, guys. We're supposed to be in the era of great technology.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yeah, you're crackling a bit though. I'm not sure why.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Carry on. So Thomas, tell us what's got
Hello,
you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I think you better go onto audio. You might get a better reception.
Yeah. My internet's very bad. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Take your video off and just do audio. Yeah, that's good. Oh, not doing well here.
Hello? Hello?
No, definitely not doing well. Thomas, leave the group and come back in. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. You know, 5G, modern technology, nothing works properly. Nothing works properly. We can tell that. But yeah, right. So, like Pat said, we've got several candidates running, and yes, we've got to be careful of foreign entities influencing our politics, which has gone on unhindered for 50 years. For the major part of it is since the Second World War, for whatever reason. But it's detrimental to everyone who lives in the UK, no matter who you are. No matter who you are. Right. Thomas, can you hear us?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. My Wi-Fi is just absolutely ancient. You know what I mean? Like it's I might just be best with the camera off if that does better for connection.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, do you just want me to introduce myself? Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us how you got into like wanting to change your country and talking about politics. Tell us that bit of a journey.
Yeah, so my name's Thomas. I run a YouTube channel called Modern Anglo, and I'm also running some sort of like movement on Twitter called Sovereign Vision. I'd say that I'm a bit of a nationalist, but growing up, I've always had an interest in topics like geography, history, like international relations, foreign policy, travel, tourism, that sort of stuff. So I'd say that my sort of like contribution to like this sort of nationalist movement is more rooted in like the sort of like the background and the roots, the context of like you know, why mass immigrations happened, you know, how Britain has got involved with like the Zionist agenda, Greater Israel Project stuff. And you know, I'm more sort of focused on, you know, how like the sovereignty of different countries around the world sort of like feedback loops back into our sovereignty. So that's looking into stuff like the British Empire, neo-colonialism, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the main gist of things.
So tell us about your sovereign group that you've got on X.
Yeah, so about a few months ago, started up like a new Twitter account, basically focusing on 3 aspects. So sovereign vision, it's kind of in the name. So the first thing is to sort of talk about our national sovereignty and, you know, how our sort of like I guess, you know, foreign policies and sort of like interventions in different countries around the world sort of affects our country, affects like the refugee crisis, displacement of different countries, and sort of like forcing into Europe and ending up in the situation we're in today. And then the second aspect of it is like talking about like sort of actually, you know, going about like changing these foreign policies within our government and working, I guess, with people around the world to sort of have this sort of like pan-sovereignty, ethno-pluralism movement. And then the third aspect is to actually go about like exposing fake patriots in our movement. You know, you could say like Tommy's one of them, for example. He's kind of like the instigator, the Zionist puppet, as you will. It's about, you know, exposing them and sort of like regaining a bit of reputation back for people like us, as you know, our sort of good intentions and movement has been hijacked in a way. And I think it's very important that we actually sort of like shred our skin a bit, and sort of like call that out.
Like you said, the first part of your thing that we need to get like leave all this foreign influence. Like you said, you've just said it yourself, that we've just been influenced by everyone through all these years, and it's just negative to us, which is one of the major reasons why we're going so down. And you know, if you'd watched some of our streams over 3 years, we talk about this regularly. It's one of our biggest issues that we have. You know, I'm not going to set like I'm just going to blame one person, but all these groups and foreign influences are bad for us, no matter where they've come from, and we're just being swamped over. And like then on the other side is the dumbing down, like the British have got an history and that, you know, and they say things like you've got no culture and stuff like that. And, you know, it's an attack on the West. And I'm 58 years old. And if you would have said this to me 30 years ago, I would have said there is attacking the Western Christianity, which they're doing. And it's just been going on like that. But we do talk about these things quite a lot. Pat, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that one of our policies is to ban foreign ownership of land and property in the UK. And John always mentions the foreign influence. You know, you got Zionists. Well, even the Saudi and the UAE and all these like multi-billionaires in the Middle East. Believe it or not a lot of people realise they are actually Zionists as well, because they've done a deal with America with the petrodollar, and these Middle Eastern royal families, they own like vast amounts of land and property in London, in the Knightsbridge, in Chelsea, and our country's just being sold off basically. And we need to put a stop to it, and it's not in the interest of they keep saying, oh, we need all these millionaires here. Well, what do we get out of it? I work like a dog, and I don't even do that well every month. I just about pay my bills, like literally. So where's all these millionaires? Why is it better for me? It's not. It's better for the globalists and the Zionists. That's what it's better for. So no, it's good to hear Thomas. And Thomas actually educated me on all this stuff going on in Africa, Burkina Faso. I didn't realise how entrenched French colonialism is still prevalent in Africa, and some of these nations in Africa are basically kicking them out. And good on them, because that's you know, we're nationalists, and we're the same. We don't want no foreigners running our country and taking things from our country. It's like what I just previously explained. Like Harrods, one of the best shops in the country, is owned by Qataris, I think it is. So very interesting videos Thomas has done on that stuff in Africa and that. And Thomas's YouTube is Modern Anglo, so you can get him on there. Subscribe to his channel. Also, his Twitter, which is a good Twitter account, is Sovereign Vision on X. And my Twitter's gone pretty good recently. I don't know what they've done to my account, but they've done something. They've released something, and I'm getting quite a lot of traffic again. And I've got 66,000 followers, which is not bad. And it's all looking good. The party's going well, and I'm really looking forward to the elections. This is going to be groundbreaking. What's going to happen in May? You know, all across Wales and in Scotland, in London, Labour are going to take a serious hammering, and it's just concerning, really, because I was actually on a live TikTok space last night. There's a girl in East London, a black girl, lovely girl she is, and she's campaigning against the LTNs, the low traffic neighbourhood schemes. And what they're doing in London, they're just closing all the shortcuts everywhere. You just can't drive anywhere anymore. Anyway, I was on there and we were discussing the Labour Party, because it's the Labour Party who have implemented all these LTNs across London. And a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, vote, like not our sort of people, but a lot of people are saying, oh, vote for the Greens. But the Greens, they're the same. They want the LTNs and all that. And all these left-leaning people are obsessed with the climate and they don't want any pollution, when LTNs create more pollution because everyone has to drive the long way round. And I just don't understand how they get away with it doing it, because it's making more pollution. It's completely opposite to what they believe in. So, yeah, that's a big part of my campaign, the LTNs. I want all the LTN road closures open, want more parking spaces, more, you know, they're trying to take away our freedoms. You know, it should be our human right to drive. My policy is we all have the right to drive or no one drives. Keir Starmer and Sadiq Khan, they drive around London in a motorcade of Range Rovers. So if they can drive big cars, why can't we? That's my stance on that. Do you get any? Have you come across any LTNs, Thomas?
LTNs?
Yeah. Do you know what an LTN is?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's not something on my mind too much. But why?
Do you know what one is?
Well, from what you've explained, I wouldn't really say. I'm not sure.
Let me explain. So an LTN, it stands for Lower Traffic Neighbourhood Scheme. Yeah. And what they've done, the shortcuts we've been using for like 30, 40 years, all our lives, like a little shortcut to cut out a load of high streets, they're closing them all and they're putting plant pots there, and it's just making chaos basically. And I was just wondering, have you seen any around the country where you are, Thomas, or you, John?
I mean, to be honest, it's not something I think about. Like, I'm not. Now that I think about it, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Are they like? It's just like new like trafficking schemes.
Well, they're just closing roads. So, like any shortcuts where you cut off, say, a couple of high streets, you just go around the back streets. They're closing them all, and it's similar to 15-minute cities. That they've introduced the 15-minute city in Oxford. Like it's proper confirmed now. I think they've actually done it. So you can only drive your car like 150 days of the year or something like this. Madness. And
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't drive. To be fully honest, I don't drive, at least at the moment. So it's not something I really notice. I guess if you're talking about like the LTNs in terms of like, is it like pedestrianizing different streets and that, obviously to reduce pollution, they say, or whatever, and it's for this 15-minute city agenda. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, in Manchester, we have had them kind of implementation, but what was going to be brought up in Manchester was a CAS tax. And Andy Burnham were going to tax everyone if they had an old car because it give out more emissions, and people were against it, and that would have meant that thousands of taxi drivers would have had to get new cars. People with old vans would have had to get new vans and stuff like that and keep up to date. And it was just a ridiculous thing. But you know, no matter where they do, they'll implement these things and try and do it across the country. And I've seen, I went to London and I caught a taxi to go to a meeting. And I got in the taxi and I'm suited up. And I just said to the black cab driver, I just said, so, you know, like, how are you being affected by these, like, traffic things? And, you know, for 15 minutes, he told me stuff that, like, just making me hair curl and stuff like that. And this is a London black cab driver. And again, they've tried it up Manchester as well to bring these kind of, implement these kind of things in. Not as bad as London, but I get it. I get it. You know, they said he want to reduce pollution, but, you know, the fight against the LTNs over the past 2 years has been one of the biggest fights, guys, I've seen. Bigger than any movement I've seen that's constantly gone out week after week. Hundreds, if not thousands, across London, all protesting against the LTNs. And it, you know, it's been good to see. It really has been good to see. And, you know, people are waking up. Andy Burnham, he cut down his CAS tax as soon as a Facebook group came up. Within 2 weeks of him announcing it, of over 80,000 people, and people started putting stickers on the cars and all that lot, and he soon shut up. But obviously, the rich get richer, but his wife was involved in a company with something to do with the lights or the signs and stuff like that. So they're all getting rich off it. But yeah, it's been a big fight back. The LTNs, the CAS tax, the 15-minute cities across the UK, one of the biggest I've seen in the past couple of years. So it's very interesting that. But like Thomas said, he don't drive and I don't drive, and I only know this because I know drivers and stuff like that, but most people won't realise, and I'm a big public transport user, me, so I don't see it. Not like Pat and other people who live in London who have to work and drive around London, a crazy place. Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand what these people like. I was actually speaking to someone on a doorstep the other night about the climate change, and I just don't believe that humans are doing it. Like with this, what they're saying it's a total scam, and this is the argument they use to do all these LTN road closures. Like they say, we're trying to cut pollution, but even if it was true, they're making more pollution. So it's just lie after lie after lie. With them, Labour are going to be really damaged in these next elections. It could finish them off, and these LTNs is going to be one of the nails in their coffin. I'm actually going to mention the LTNs in my victory speech if I win, and I will thank Labour for implementing them because it's got a lot of votes. Like the other night, I was out on the doorstep and so many people voted for me because of that. The LTNs, you know, they've closed or restricted 36 roads in the small area where I live, and it's just outrageous. And they're trying to bring in new. It's just never ending. They're trying to bring in new restrictions. So at the moment, Monday to Friday, if you have a visitor to come and visit you, they can park on the yellow line or the visitors permits from 6:30. But they want to change that to Monday to Friday till 8 p.m. You can't park there till 8 p.m. and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday, no parking, and it's just unbelievable that they're gonna lose so many votes because of it. But so what do we all think about this election in Denton and Gorton? Is it Gorton and Denton?
Yeah,
it's all hotting up, and you know, Nick Buckley's standing there. He's a brave man. And it makes me laugh, all these reform people complaining that he's standing because, you know, if they weren't so moderate with their policies, there wouldn't be an advanced UK. But that party wouldn't even exist if reform would have done what people wanted them to do. It's all their own fault. And if they lose it because of that, it's only their own fault. It's not Nick Buckley's fault. It's their fault. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting contest. The Greens, I mean, I saw something on Twitter earlier. They had 400 canvassers out on Sunday. Can you believe that? 400 people out knocking on doors for a day's action. That's quite impressive for this Green Party. I mean, it's quite scary, to be honest, because they are absolutely nuts. They think men are women, men can turn into women, and women can turn into men. They want open borders. Their leader was literally in Calais giving out food to the bloody people getting on the dinghies. Can you believe this, guys? What do you think about this, Thomas?
You're muted, by the way, Thomas. Let me get in on Gorton and Denton before. Right, he's back. Thomas, what do you think of what we just said about the Greens and that? The Loopy Greens. He's not doing well. Hold on, Thomas. Let me get in.
Hello, can you hear me?
Gorton and Denton by-election. Now, if people didn't know, it was through a resignation from a Labour MP who was in that WhatsApp group scandal, who said that he just wished that that old person would just go away, like, and die or something. So, you know, he wouldn't have to be mithered. Very touchy with me, that. And it's amazing I haven't been to Gorton and Denton already this past couple of weeks. But that's what's triggered all this. And in that area, there's other people involved besides that geezer who did, I'll find his name in a minute, besides him. And all of Ashton and the councillors are in uproar. I'm friends with some of the independents down there. And the big scandal brewing. They're all like really like warring over the polling and stuff like that. And there's going to be big change, like Pat said. And, you know, am I happy that people are running in elections? I am, yeah. I don't care if you're Reform, Advanced, Green. I want people to run in elections. And funny thing is, Pat said that about Reform. Now, just the other week, I went to a Reform meeting as a member of the public, not political. And then the candidate who's been chosen to run in Hollingwood has come up to me and said about splitting the vote. Now, he didn't sort of like say that I have to step down, but it was sort of like that kind of thing because we're Reform. And there was witnesses there, and I just like politely told him to F off. I've been there. I've run 5 elections. It'll be in May. 5 elections for me. I'm not moving from Hollingwood, and I'm not moving for someone who's just been parachuted in 2 weeks before. I'm really not. And I'm guessing most people in the area will think like that who know me and will still vote for me. But whether they run or not, it's all changing. And we've never had this kind of political upheaval. We've never had it to where a different party will get one of these major seats. For 50 years, it's been Lib Dem, Labour, Tory, and the independents haven't been there. One thing we have talked about is a percentage rise of independent candidates winning council seats. And this May is going to show you an even bigger amount of these candidates gaining local council seats, breaking up the hold that the Labour and the Tories, the Lib Dems, the Greens have on our political machine. And we are going to see that this May. Thomas, can you hear us now? Let's see if we can get you on. Gorton and Denton.
Hello, yeah. Sorry, the internet again.
So what do you think of the Gorton and Denton by-election?
Okay, so yeah, the Gorton Denton by-election, it's definitely an interesting one. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, we've got obviously Matt Goodwin for Reform. We've got it really does feel like and it feels like it's going to be a sort of like good indicator for what's really to come, isn't it? Kind of the key things that we get from like by-elections. It's this key sort of projector of where the country's going. And you know, as for Reform and that, and for the Green Party, I'm not too familiar on that specific area of Manchester, but I can imagine it's going to be very much in the Greens' favour at the moment.
You know, I'm not too far from Gorton and Denton. I have actually been down a couple of times doing a couple of supporting somebody in the area, and we managed to get some meetings with Andy Burnham, and it was Gorton and Denton area. But you know, I don't know about the Greens. The new, the flush and stuff like that. But I don't think like they're gonna get like they're not going to get a big majority Muslim vote. They're just not going to get it. And if they do, then whoever votes for them who's a Muslim is an hypocrite. They're hypocrites if they vote for the Greens, because the Greens are all love and rainbow flagged and all that lot. And I don't like it. I'm not going to vote for a party that supports it. So, Muslims shouldn't be voting for Greens, but we know there is the deputy leader is Mohin Ali, and they call him, his nickname is the hero of her hills. And if you don't know what went on there, but and he was the one who stood up in his election and went Allahu Akbar and stuff. But it's difficult, but I don't think it's going to be as such a secure for the Greens. Even Labour still had a big majority from the last election that they got there in Gorton and Denton. So there's still going to be a threat. Labour is still going to be a threat. Do I think Reform will do fairly well? I think they will. But I reckon Labour are going to maybe keep that seat. I'm just an educated guess. Because I think it was, it was 15,000 majority he won the last seat with. And it's still a big, like, Labour area. And we know Nick Buckley personally, me and Pat. We've interviewed him a few times, and he's running for advance. Now, they haven't got a chance of winning that seat. They haven't. I'll tell you that. Pat will tell you that. Most people will. But the fact that they're standing up and running is a good thing. And you know what? In all the candidates running, Nick Buckley is the most qualified. How do I know that? Because he's worked with police, he's worked with councils, he's worked with the homeless, he's taught the police how to deal with youths in crime and stuff like that. And not one of them other candidates have got anything like that on their resume. So if I lived in Gorton and Denton, I'd probably be voting for Nick Buckley. Not particularly advanced, but Nick Buckley, the man, because we know him and we know that he's done stuff. We know that he's done the kind of stuff that we should be aspiring to get up to. Working with the homeless, he ran Piccadilly Centre for a number of years in Manchester. He's worked closely alongside the police, and none of the other candidates, a Labour candidate, I'm a plumber. I'm a pretend plumber. Matt Goodwin, he's been university and that, but he don't seem to have any working class skills, like I would say, that come from Nick Buckley. As Matt Goodwin worked with the police, as he worked with the homeless, did he start a charity up working for the homeless? I don't think he's done anything like that. So, Nick Buckley would be the man to me to get into that area. But again, I think Labour are still going to be hard to beat. No matter if you're Greens or Reform, I still think Labour are going to be hard to beat. So that's my little set on Gorton and Denton.
Yeah, I think Labour and the Greens are going to split each other's vote. I think Reform might creep in. But people got to remember that Matt Goodwin was working for the government previously to fight against what they call far right, the far right agenda, whatever they call it. And, he was literally working to stop nationalism. And now all of a sudden he speaks some good stuff, some stuff I don't really like. He's a Zionist. And, and it's funny because the Reform, they're all going mad at the moment because a university cancelled their debate with Sarah Poachin. And they're all crying about it. And they're saying this is terrible for free speech. Yet their own party has banned 100,000 patriots from joining them. The 100,000 patriots they've banned were just trying to prevent what they're all moaning about now. And those 100,000 patriots, including ex-BNP members, were trying to prevent the British people becoming a minority in a civilized and democratic way. Yet Reform have prioritized and streamlined ethnic minorities into top positions within their cabinet. Zahawi, Layla Cunningham, Suwaiba Braverman, Isaiah Youssef. So these people are going to have a chance to be in the British government, whereas they've excluded 100,000 native Brits from having that opportunity. This is completely wrong. And people need to remember these things about Reform. They are not right, and you know, it's just not on what they've done there. So we'll see what happens. I think they're going to win it. I wish Nick Buckley all the best. Like John said, he's a very good man. He's been on our show a few times, and but then again, Advanced UK, they're Zionist as well. Ben Habib turning up at the pro-Iran rally in London. Why are you going to go and speak there and do a speech at a pro-Iran rally? You must be getting massive donations from the Zionist lobby. There's no other two ways about it. And they've released an immigration policy. They don't want any... It's good they said they want to stop permanent settlement immigration, but then they said any emergency workers coming to this country, they put a big map out and they said all the green countries will be allowed to get the visa and all the red countries won't. So the whole of Africa was red, the whole of Asia was red, most of Europe was green, North America green, South America I think was red actually, but then they said Israel is in the green zone, and it's like, you know, Armenia is a Christian country, you know, why can't they come and work here? But you know, it's just a bit strange that they're prioritizing this Israeli lobby agenda. That's why I don't trust them. So yeah, it's looking interesting. Things are going to change in the next few years, I think. What's your prediction, Thomas, for the next few years in British politics?
Oh, predictions. That's a difficult one. I think in terms of like, if we're talking about like 2020 politics and when the general election will potentially be, who knows? I mean, obviously the sort of feud with Keir Starmer at the moment, it could be earlier, but we're going to, it will be definitely, I mean, a revolutionary time. As it'll be the first time where it isn't just Labour and Tories, it's going to be, you know, Reform and Greens, it seems like. And I think up until then, it's going to be a lot of just more feuds, more scandals potentially coming out, more like sort of like people getting blackmail on each other to sort of like fight for this reputation, fight for votes that are coming out. I mean, we can talk about like the sort of Epstein stuff at the moment and the impact that has on both Reform and Labour at the moment, and I think that's kind of given the Greens a little bit of an edge at the moment. We've obviously Nigel Farage's relation most of his Thomas cabinet. It's just
breaking up a bit there. I mean, one thing about this Epstein thing, guys, I just got to say this, because not everyone who went to that island is guilty. Not everyone who knew Epstein is guilty. Lots of them did know that he was a shady person. I get it. But we're being like wolves now, and like people are believing fake memes. If they put a meme up with me next to Epstein, everyone will be believing it, even though I've never been there.
I think the issue, John, I think the big issue is that a lot of these people continued to have relations with him after he was convicted of children. Steve Bannon was one of them.
I get it. But
you know, Mandelson, a lot of them were, you know,
Mandelson's guilty. We get that, but it's still baying, and you know, like, I think it's
the latest development is Ghislaine Maxwell apparently has said she wants to be given amnesty by Trump, right? And she's saying that she will testify at Congress and tell all. She's going to tell all, but Trump and Clinton are definitely innocent. They haven't done nothing wrong. I mean, come on. It's just like, it's ridiculous.
I won't say they're all innocent, no.
Well, at the end of the day, I think Trump's in big trouble, mate. And I think he's being blackmailed by Netanyahu. Netanyahu's been to visit him 7 times, which is unprecedented. Like, this never happened before with an Israeli prime minister. And he's doing whatever they want. And like I said, if they don't start bombing Iran in the next few days, and the American Armada starts drifting off away from the Middle East, you're going to get some serious Epstein file dumps happening, and it's going to be explosive. And I think it's going to bring down Trump. It could be world war because of it, because it's going to be so bad.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they're basically drip feeding all these files to us as well, isn't it? The fact that, you know, obviously it's being used, obviously, but primarily as blackmail to sort of occupy over like the presidents, the politicians, and you know important officials and that. And yes, it's kind of crazy how, like, I don't know if you've seen on like Instagram and just basic social media, Instagram especially, about there's kind of like these sort of like theories about whether like the CIA and stuff are like making all these different sort of like meme accounts about Epstein to sort of like desensitize us to the sort of findings in the files and that, and sort of make us sort of either distracted away from it, or just make us not care about it too much by just turning it all into a big joke. I think that's really dangerous in respect, because, you know, I could be sort of guilty of that in terms of, like, you know, if you like dark humor and that, it's sort of like, you know, it's like somebody's personality sometimes to like dark humor, but you know, it can be a weakness when you're really talking about like serious world issues and that.
Yeah, just let me just get about this baying for wolves because of Epstein. So Wrexham Labour had to take down a post because they put the post up with Farage and Epstein, whether they were doing it badly or anything like that. And this is what people are doing. So it's just going beyond everything. We're not gonna ever know who's properly guilty in that after all this. We're not, and loads of people are gonna get away with it. And really, it's just like, I don't want to focus on it, but it's putting everyone's focus on it, and it's not good. We need to still focus over here, getting elections done. But yeah, it's making people into animals, whether on the right or the left, and people are baying for blood. And there's going to be loads of innocent people dragged into it. You can't be like Farage already. There's just images up with him next to Epstein. Now he says he hasn't been, but I don't give a shit. But all these people said that it's all fake. These are all fake images. It's just that we're in a really bad day, guys. We're really, really in a bad day. But, you know, I do understand and support what Pat was saying about the pressure from these groups, especially the Middle East Forum, the very powerful group, on major politicians across the world. Mandelson, Lord Mandelson. He was the engrainment of British politics, and he's been infiltrated. He's just been caught out, and he's a pedo. He just couldn't make it up.
He was Jewish himself, isn't he? So
yeah.
Some people are saying that he's going to abscond to Israel to avoid criminal prosecutions, because just for the viewers, people who don't know, that if you're Jewish, if you're a pedophile, just say you're Jewish and you're a pedophile in this country and you're about to be convicted and the police want to arrest you, you could flee to Israel, and there's no extradition available for Israeli citizens. No matter what crime you've committed, they will keep you in Israel, including paedophiles, and it's happened many times. So this is what sort of country they are, you know. And this Epstein files is all related to Israel. And a lot of people explain that in the Talmud, it's legal to rape babies if they're over, like 3 years old or something, and all this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of the Epstein files talking about how they talk about non-Jewish people, the goyim, you know, they're cattle, they're our slaves, they're not, you know, this is Jewish supremacy. And this is another thing the Epstein files has shown the public, that you know, these people do think they're superior to the rest of the world. And Christianity is not like that. We don't look down at people. We love our enemies. We love everyone. And that doesn't mean we're going to let them walk all over us, but we don't look down at them like we're above them. And this is what the Epstein files has shown the world, basically. But yeah, say thanks to everyone in the chat, John. Who we got in the chat?
Mark Mullins in, Paul Jones, thank you for that data on the polling. Thank you very much. I still think Labour are going to be a threat in that area, but thank you. He's saying 8-11 the Greens, 2-1 Reform, 10-1 Labour. So yeah, on statistics, Reform and the Greens are the ones to beat, but just don't throw Labour out in that area. Don't underestimate them and the sneakiness and the snidiness of them. Thank you, Dave Beck. EW's in the chat. Big Vinny, yes, mate. Yes, Big Vinny.
Big Vinny, one of our solid members, loyal to the party.
I've put at Vision Sovereign in the chat, so that's Thomas's X. And I have put his YouTube channel up, but I will do it again.
Yeah, because Thomas wrote a good article for the website. What's your next article you're thinking of writing, Thomas? Bad connection, isn't it, tonight? He's gone.
But anyway, guys, we've got Stuart's on next week. We're going to do more on Epstein and the links and stuff like that. So that'll be next week, and it'll be sort of like Stuart's show because he's sending me all the information that we'll be showing you, and we'll go on about the whole thing. I am going to talk about Trump, and I'm going to talk about that ICE thing that's happening over there. But that'll be next week, and maybe I might do the US national anthem or something like that, or play something on the show. But we will be talking about that next week. I put Stuart off 2 weeks now, so he gets his week next week on what he wants to talk about, and that's it. So we'll do that. Please subscribe to the channel. Our website will be coming up in a second.
So yeah, just a shout out to all the other parties. Alliance, Democracy and Freedom Party, National Distributist Party, the Populist Party. We're in talks with them, and we wish them well in the elections coming up. If any of them are standing candidates, we know the ADF are standing in Scotland. Got quite a few candidates in Scotland, and we've got a few candidates in London. And I've said it before. The big cities are the best place to stand for nationalists at the moment, because that's the weakest place reform will be. You're not going to have a chance against them in the rural areas where there's not much immigration, so to speak. So, but I think reform are going to struggle soon because they're becoming more and more establishment. They're getting donations from the WEF, taking in all these Tories. I mean, how can you take in all these Tories who destroyed the country? These people should be put on trial, not taken into your party. Yeah, so it's all looking interesting. And you can follow me on Twitter at NHPUK, capital letters, official. My YouTube channel is NHPUK Press Office. This channel is NHPUK TV. You can donate to our party on the website, nationalhousingparty.uk, and you can join the party, £22 a year. If you want to just help out or get in contact with us, you can email us, admin@nationalhousingparty.uk. So, yes, over to you, John.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. There's our admin link, and there is our PayPal link, and I'll put that in the chat anyway. Well, our website link's in the chat. We're not here to take money or to pay people. We just buy leaflets and all that. Obviously, a website costs money. Everyone knows that. You can't run things like this without a little bit of money. But a lot of our own money goes into this. But we just want to make money for leaflets and stuff like that. So best way to do that, subscribe to our YouTube channels, subscribe to mine, subscribe to Pat's, follow us on social media. We've got links on all our videos to our Facebook, our other groups and stuff like that. And if you're active and you want to get involved in London, please get in contact with Pat. He's got a bit of a mission there. So get in contact with Pat. A few people have come forward. I'm sure we'll get some more, but get in contact. And, you know, we don't want to shout and scream at anybody. We just want to change the way our country is run and run it better for British citizens. And just let me say as well, we're not gonna be deporting legally British citizens. That's not in our policies of our group. Not to, even though you will hear a lot of this from other people and other parties, it's just not in our party. So that's it. But thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to let Thomas have this video anyway. I'll download it and send it to him. That's why I didn't put our thing up at the top there, and he can put it onto his channel. Yes, John Rankin. Yes, certainly. Well, we're going to be live with Freedom Dad, Mark, and Nobby on Saturday. And they want you to join in, John Rankin, top patriot there. Thank you very much, everyone. Pat, any last words?
No, thanks for everyone who's watched. Get in contact with us if you're interested in coming on the stream. You know, you've got something to talk about. But most importantly, find the courage to stand in local elections. That's the only way we're going to change this country. We can't rely on Reform UK to rule over us, because it's going to be much the same as what we've had from the Boris Johnson era. Because I guarantee you that most of the people supporting Reform now are the same people who supported Boris Johnson. And look how that turned out, ladies and gentlemen. So join one of the smaller parties. There's a number of parties about, you know, even just stand as an independent on your own. Why not? You know, and if you're that angry about everything, it's a real liberating experience standing in elections. When I first stood, I got all my anger out onto my leaflet, and I put out 7,000 leaflets, and it was one of the best feelings I've ever had. So yeah, try it out, and always remember, Christ is King. You're on mute, John.
There we go. God bless everyone. See you next week.
God bless. Thank you.